There are white letters on a black background saying Thriving with Vision Loss with special guest Josh Schneider of U.S. Blind Hockey. This interview was done in a Zoom format with the speaker visible as they talk. Michelle is wearing a purple shirt and purple headband in a blurred office, and Josh has a geometric background with the logo for the Blind Hockey Showdown and the Dented Puck Foundation with a puck in the top right. Josh is wearing a yellow shirt. Hi, welcome to another edition of Thriving with Low Vision on the eleVIVO YouTube channel. eleVIVO is a one-of-a-kind utility that helps people who are losing their vision to thrive by providing information and connections to vital local organizations that support the low vision community. If you or anyone you know is struggling with vision loss and what comes next, check out our low-cost one-of-a-kind utility at eleVIVO.com, eleVIVO.com. And if you want to see more great interviews of amazing folks who are thriving despite their vision issues, please drop a like and subscribe to our channel. So when I was young, I was a rink rat. I was totally obsessed with hockey. When I heard that there was blind hockey for the first time, I was so confused and thrilled all at the same time. How in the world do you play hockey blind? To answer that question, I get to talk to Josh Schneider, a defenseman on the U.S. Blind Hockey team and host of the Dented Puck YouTube channel. Hey, Josh, how you doing?
Hey, it's nice to be here, and it's nice to talk hockey with someone. I mean, we've had some fun conversations already, but yeah, I had the same reaction as a college hockey player and a special ed teacher before I lost my vision. I had the same reaction when I heard about blind hockey too. So it's not just you or anybody else with the same reaction.
So where did you grow up?
So I grew up in New Jersey. I am pretty local. I stayed mostly on the East Coast. I went to Maryland for college, but this is pretty much where I've lived my whole life.
So are you a Devils fan?
That would make me a Devils fan, yes.
Oh my. Oh my, I like the Devils actually. I actually knew Pat Verbeek pretty well.
That makes sense.
And yep,
that makes sense coming from up there, coming down here, yeah.
And when I was a kid, Peter Zezel was probably one of my earliest crushes. And he was actually Philly, I think he played for at the time. That was a long time ago. I
was not going to put that on you. You did that. I was not going with the Peter, because you said it, then you said in Philly, and I'm like, yeah, we're gonna leave it there.
Yep.
But one of my earlier Devils memories, I'll give you that.
Oh, cool. All right. Well, we have a lot to talk about here. So you said you weren't born low vision. You developed it. When did you end up low vision?
So I had what my parents like to say. I had perfect vision. I had never been to an eye doctor until 2012, until I was 30.
Wow.
I'll tell you, it was 2 weeks before my first marriage. And I say the first marriage because that should be the sign.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Should have been the sign. I was teaching math and coaching softball in South Jersey. And here's your math lesson for the day. I walked my softball girls out to their late bus, and I was walking back into the cafeteria, walked back into the building. And I looked at the cafeteria doors, and I was rubbing my right eye, and I looked at the door, and ironically, I can't see what I'm doing right now. I looked at the door, and part of the door was skew. And a skew line is a line that's to the side of technically the line where it should be on. And that doesn't happen in objects in real life. So I covered my left eye for a second, and it looked normal. I covered my right eye again, so I was looking at my left, and it looked skew. And that was the beginning. That was May of 2012. I went to my fiance's optometrist at that point, I think a couple weeks later. And immediately his answer was, I need you to get an MRI. I need you to go for a CAT scan and go to Will's Eye in Philly. And that was my friend, and they diagnosed it as just an optic inflammation and gave me my first cycle of steroids and set me on my way. And that was 2012. So that was my first experience with, anything sight loss related.
Mm-hmm. And then how did it go from there?
Quickly.
Totally.
Which once you've kind of gotten to the point where you can kind of accept it, like obviously I have, we went on what you would understand. I would have optic inflammation. So what what's a basic term of optic neuritis. I show all the signs of a disease called uveitis.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're familiar with uveitis.
And
I check every box.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been diagnosed with not uveitis by the one doctor in the world that can tell me I don't have uveitis, because he was the one that created the disease.
Got it.
And I looked at him and I said, so instead of like a real cool, like I give a cool name to it, it makes sense. I get our head happened around 30, right? That's a major marker for uveitis and everything. And I was like, why? And he goes, I don't think you have it. And he's the only one in the world that can have that opinion, correct? Like, yeah. Everyone else has to follow the boxes, and I check every box. And he removed that for me. But from what took me from original, just kind of lost aside a little to there, I would have optic inflammations about every 6 months. Mm-hmm. And obviously, like, it's my left eye first, and my left eye is what I see nothing out of now. I would I'd lose both. I would lose visual field and I'd lose acuity. The acuity with steroids came back. Right now I'm not wearing glasses. I don't actually know what I'm at. Maybe 20, 120, 120, which is very good for the blind community. Mm-hmm. But with glasses, I'm about 20/40. I just see through. So I would, after about a year, I lost vision in my left eye. And that's when I went to see Dr. Foster up in Boston, who is who I credit with saving my eyesight and then giving me my non-fun diagnosis of uveitis. But yeah, over the next 5 or 6 years, we don't know the causation. It would happen randomly. I would just start losing. I would notice because my vision would start getting blurry. But I would lose acuity, I would lose visual field, and through a cycle of steroids, immediate steroids would stop it. And what we actually found was one of the joke at the end of my education story. I moved to the town that I taught in. So I taught where I live. I taught for the last 5 years of my career. I taught special ed. My second year there, I had 2 kids in a special ed 5th grade math class. And what they remembered 4 years later as the day I was Superman was 1 gram of IV solumetrol steroids over an hour for 3 days straight, which is something I would never wish on my worst enemy, but it's what saved my sight. And showed me exactly what the positive effects of steroids are. Ironically, that was the beginning of me utilizing that medication to keep my sight hopefully as stable as it was. 3 years later, when they were in 8th grade, I retired. Sorry, I might lose it. I retired, and jokingly, and I retired on the spot. I got a doctor's note from the same doctor that I didn't have to go back to school anymore. I went back about 2 weeks later to talk to the kids. And I brought back and I was like, hey guys, do you remember when, the day that I was a rock star for that week? Yeah. It's like, I was on so much steroids. I lost so much of my eyesight that week. That was really when I knew that something was wrong. So really, over the last 5 years of my teaching career, I lost all of my eyesight in my left eye very quickly. The eyesight in my right eye crept in on me until I technically have about 3 degrees left in my right eye right now. And it's all in the bottom right of my central vision. So I do have solid vision, what I do see. But when I when I made the personal decision to leave teaching, I went to my doctor. First, I asked him if I was blind. And he looked at me and said, you've been blind for so long, you just don't realize it because what you see is still pretty good. So I made that decision. That was April of 2018. I made a decision to retire. Obviously, if you can hear my voice, one of the toughest things I ever did to do. But I've actually found joy in educating about what I do now. So I'm sure you know, and like a lot of people talk about on our podcast, the Dented Puck Podcast, the stories are redemption, but a lot of it is that sight loss is traumatic, and you can hear it in my voice. And I went through solid depression, and blind hockey is what brought me out of it. And I mean, just finding blind hockey, I knew it would. But finding the community and finding the community and finding everything around blind hockey is really why I do what I do. I was retired for about a year and a half. It was September of 2019. And I was volunteering for an awesome organization called CASA. They work with people in the foster care system. So they represent kids in the foster care system in court. Very, very small push but if anyone's looking for somewhere else to volunteer, awesome place. And I went to do the dishes and I turned on the TV and I didn't turn on ESPN. For some reason, it's serendipitous now. I didn't turn on ESPN. I'm going to lose it again. I need to drink something. And I didn't turn on ESPN, and I saw for some reason Optimum TV turned on the local news every time you turn on Optimum TV. Again, weird and serendipitous. I start doing the dishes, and TV's on, and I hear a bunch of disabled people are finding joy in a sport they never thought they could play. And I mean, I was a special ed teacher. I played college hockey. I coached everything under the sun, so my ears perked up. And I heard, at New York Metro Blind Hockey, and I can't even tell you what the words after that were, because I just turned and I saw my TV white and legs moving, and and I know what what skating looks like. Mm-hmm. And I just pointed and I did the obstacle course for my house. And the next thing I did, I was sending emails. And in my head, the only thing that I could think of is, how did this exist while I lost my sight for so long and I didn't know about it? Mm-hmm. Which is basically the mentality of why we started a podcast, why we have the foundation. And every time I meet someone new that played and lost their sight, why it's kind of like a fun conversation, a fun joking conversation for me, because I've been through it so much. I'm like, no, I get it, dude. I know. Just welcome to the community. But really, I sent a bunch of emails. And the funny part was my whole intent was to coach. Like I said, check the boxes. I played college hockey. I was 240 pounds at 5'9" on the couch. I was not in shape to play. But I was the perfect coach. I was a perfect coach they could have. Mm-hmm. So a woman that runs the local team calls, and I'm talking to her on the phone, and I'm advertising myself as who should be their new head coach. And making the pitch. And she stopped. She goes, Josh, I don't think you get it. You don't have to coach. You can play. And this time, my voice isn't going to lose it. But it did then. Mm-hmm. And I don't care, 13, 12 years old, 11 years old, my voice cracked at 37-year-old old, but I was like, I can play? And because that's how much it meant that it was still a place for me also, that it wasn't just focused on kids.
It's like you had your life back.
Immediately I knew, but I was also, a lot of people go into retirement and they know they lose a lot of it. I went to retirement at 37. The joke was, and I told everybody that I had, air quotes for those who are too blind to see that, an athlete's retirement. Mm-hmm. I work out 6 times a week now. Mm-hmm. And I deserve it from what I said. Athletes retire late 30s after a long career. It's an early retirement. That's what I get now. My second career, I'm getting the just desserts for that. But so I was
play defense, right?
So I play defense, yeah.
So is that your favorite position to play, or is that just the position that you ended up with?
So I actually played forward going into college and was moved back to defense. I was always more of a defensive forward, so I found myself really kind of acclimating to defense and an offensive defenseman pretty well. The irony in everything, the way it landed, is that my vision, the way it is, puts me in the same position that I played in college, is where my vision works best. So my vision, my vision is just in the right side, and it's in the bottom right of the right side. So, and I have very good distance vision. So when I get inside the offensive zone, I see less and less because the cone of vision is smaller and smaller when you have less and less distance to see. And when you get deeper inside, you're moving and turning, so everything's not in front of you. But when I can keep things in front of me, I can see everything and a very good picture of what's going on, especially compared to most of my peers who are all legally blind, whether it's acuity or visual field or both. So I actually found an easy transition back to defense because where my vision made me comfortable in blind hockey was where I knew from regular hockey in the first place.
So I'm just going, so the people with less acuity than you and less field than you, how do they manage to play? How can you tell who's who, and how do you find the puck?
So the way blind hockey was created differently than most blind sports. Most blind sports base their whole concept on equality. They're going to put a blindfold on you and everybody's equal. Blind hockey utilizes players' vision to allow them to play with the vision they still have. The way that it's utilizing the concept of equity, we use a point system as opposed to creating a baseline of no vision. The way the Paralympics divides vision into 3 different categories, whereas the top would be you're just legally blind, and the bottom is you're totally blind. And I fit right in that nice section in the middle. We use a point system to value all 3 groups. Whereas I'm never going to compete with somebody who has just that higher level of vision, let alone low vision or vision at all, just because of my visual field in a game that's based on peripheral vision. It's just it's a massive disability. I'm more disabled on the ice than not on the ice. However, the way we do our points, you can only have 14 points of vision on the ice at the same time. So if you think about it as a value system, those with the most vision are 3 points. My group in the middle are 2 points, and those with no vision or it's the baseline for that is you can't see your hand in front of your face. So that to no vision are 1 point. And the way we're always inclusive to those with no vision, our goalies must be totally blind.
Really?
Okay. Now see, you're in the vision community. The hockey community always has a much crazier reaction because it's the hockey community. Now, blind people and the vision community, the one thing that means is you don't have to go anywhere.
I guess,
so,
yeah.
But remember, you can't use a cane on ice. It all feels the same.
Yeah.
So the way we're inclusive now, that does not mean we force those who are totally blind to play goalie. One of my former Team USA teammates named Kevin Brown is a B1 defenseman, and let me tell you, he is the real life daredevil. He is the one where where people are like, oh yeah, your hearing must be supersonic. That's him. However, when he lost the last of his vision, he actually audibly trained himself. So he worked on it. As we all do, naturally, he specifically worked on it. But so we are inclusive to the totally blind and don't force them to play goalie. But that's the way we make sure at every level that 10% of the blind community is included.
Got it.
Now,
how many teams are out there?
So in the US, we have about 19 teams right now. But team is a loose term, as my team has 3 players and the Chicago team has 17. The Minnesota team has 25.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, but this is, remember, we're talking about a 0.1% of the community, where a large part of that 0.1 is seniors who are really not candidates for a sport like hockey.
Yeah.
But we're also, blind hockey just celebrated its 10-year anniversary in the U.S., and we're at this point really starting to get traction with growth. Our hope is that we are able to have our local teams at the capacity where they could play games against each other. But as a growing sport, we need to come together for events so that we have the capacity to play these events at this point.
Got it. So if somebody listening to this wanted to play blind hockey, how would they go about getting the skills that they need to do that?
Well, all of our blind hockey teams offer introductory skating one-on-one, because we believe that I was that kid, and I'm sure you were that kid also at public skate, that you probably didn't want skating past you if you were a blind person. And I'll admit it, I was 12. I was a hockey player and I was 12. I was that kid that was weaving it out of people. However, if I go to public skate now, that 12-year-old is going to end up in the hospital.
Yeah.
But the same way is a new blind skater, won't even think to go out there because they hear it, they see it, and they're worried. So we offer, that's the first thing our blind hockey teams offer. It is from the basic, we will get you rental skates, we'll get you a rental helmet, and we'll get you your first steps on the ice, up to practicing elite blind hockey at the same practice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, we work we're a community. We're a community to the point where my team in New Jersey last year was 3 of us and a half a coach, where we would all make sure we were working with the new skater at all times. But then, it'd be one of us was working with a coach, the 2 of us were working together, the coach was over there, so we could get things done, because we are, the idea is we are a growing community. And as we know, it's all about support and it's all about keeping the community together.
Now that we've heard all about blind hockey, I need to see this. So we're going to, Josh has given me a clip and we're going to play it, and that way you can get a visual of what this really does.
So this is blind hockey puck.
This is full speed action. Yellow 74 is Alex Capazoris. Yellow 33 is our friend Josh Schneider. Wow! We need to see that in slow motion. Yellow's on the attack. Alex has the puck across the blue line. Crisp cross-ice pass to Josh. He shoots. He scores! Great teamwork. Beautiful shot.
That was so cool. Oh my God. You have got a new fan now. If you come to Baltimore or Washington, you need to let me know, because I'm there. You will have me up in the stands cheering my head off for you. That is awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I mean, we do have a team that practices down in DC, but I'll tell you the other side of DC.
Got it.
So I actually think the address is in Virginia, but as a Maryland grad, I know the Nova area, so that makes a difference.
Well, if you get down to this area, we are going to hook up, because I just think this is amazing. So you have a YouTube channel, right?
So we do. It's our podcast and our blind hockey events are also on the same YouTube channel, the Dented Puck. Our podcasts are both audio and video, and all of our blind hockey games that are hosted by the Dented Puck Foundation are on there. They were live streamed, and they were done with audio for the visual impaired. So obviously a more descriptive audio than a regular commentator would be doing.
Awesome. Well, this is a great thing to be doing. I'm so excited. Now, there's one more thing I want to talk to you about, and that is the Central Park skating that you were working on with Facebook the other day. I was kind of stalking you maybe in Facebook, and I saw that post. So tell me more about skating in Central Park.
So I'm working with, ironically, the Devils. The Devils bought and are supporting the rink, Woolman Rink, the Southern Rink in Central Park. They are a larger rink, so it's not the hockey rink, it's a larger skating rink. They wanted to start a disabled skating program this year, and I am working to grow the disabled skating program. So if you are a disabled child or adult in Central Park in New York, not specific to Manhattan, we will provide a link in the description for the signups for the program. Signups are free. The only thing we ask is that if you are going to take the sign up, please make sure you can make a solid commitment, because you are going to take a spot from somebody else. But the idea is we want to get more disabled people on the ice. It is going to be a 1-2 or a 1-3 environment. Hopefully 1-1, but I can't promise that. But I want to make sure that the information gets out there, the opportunity is out there. It is a program worked on by the Central Park Consortium and the people working with Woolman Partners. They want to offer this to the community. So anybody interested, please reach out if you have any questions, or feel free to sign up. We can reach out then.
That is amazing. That sounds like so much fun. And I love to skate still. I'm not very good at it anymore, but old and broken ankles, but I try. So that was.
Oh, and I'm getting my lessons from the figure skaters there, because nobody knows how to skate like figure skaters.
Oh, they're so good. I mean, I know some of the pro teams use them for their power skating clinics and stuff because they're just so good.
Well, I mean, I grew up playing roller hockey, and when I found ice hockey, I did one lesson, and the kid was like, "It's obvious you're a really good hockey player. It's also really obvious it wasn't ice." And I just burst out laughing because you know what? The best thing my parents ever did for me was buy me lessons with a figure skater, and her name was Elite. And mine was Elite, and she was in the Olympics, and she is awesome. And she plays a little hockey, but she coaches figure skating, and she coaches power skating for hockey, and that's how I learned two edges. So really 100%, that's what I'm looking forward to also. That's what I've told a lot of my friends is I'll get you there, and then I'm going to get you real skating lessons from people who are really going to teach you skating.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. Thank you so much for joining us today, Josh. It was so much fun to talk to you. So for more information about blind hockey, and go ahead and subscribe to Josh's YouTube channel, The Dented Puck, and I'll have links for U.S. Hockey, The Dented Puck, the Central Park Skating. All of that will be in the description of this video. So come on out and skate with us. And if you know of anybody who is struggling with low vision and what comes next, check out our low-cost, one-of-a-kind utility at eleVIVO.com. And if you want to check out more interesting interviews with lots of cool people that I get to talk to, go ahead and subscribe and drop a like and a comment. We are running premieres for each video so that we'll all be in the chat and we can all talk about all the fun stuff that we get to do. And until the next time, have the best day ever and keep your stick on the ice.
Thanks for tuning in to our series, Thriving with Vision Loss. If you'd like to learn more about thriving with blindness or low vision, check out eleVIVO.com/#/free trial for a free 6-month membership for the first 1,000 people who sign up. If you'd like to be featured in an upcoming episode in our Thriving with Vision Loss series, email michelleb@elevivo.com. That is MICHELLEB@elevivo.com. The white letters on the black background fade as Circles by Classless Act plays.
Way to happy, yeah.